so many good friends. And I want to actually give another round of applause for John Knapp and the band. There's people that couldn't be here tonight. Of course, Don Davis, our dear, dear Don. Sweetheart of all time. I have to tell you that Don was the kind of guy he was. He just couldn't believe that you guys were all here to see him. I mean, he was just so humble and appreciative. It just meant an awful lot to him. And I talked to Dana Ashbrook, who played Bobby, our son Bobby Briggs, and Dana sent me this email that I would like to read, and it's his tribute to Don, and it was written yesterday. Don Davis. The last time I saw Don, he was giving me a lift from one of the festival events back to the hotel up at the Snoqualmie. We had a great talk and some real laughs. When I saw Don in Washington, I hadn't seen him for a few years except for on TV, of course, and I picked up without missing a beat, just as I do with most of the Twin Peaks folks. We caught up with each other and talked over some memories and drove through that beautiful country. My favorite Don story was when I was doing a scene with him in the Double R Diner.
Yeah.
He, Major Briggs, was telling me about a dream he had about me. I saw that last night.
That's my favorite.
He had a dream about me, Bobby. I remember David taking down a slide after he had already finished his coverage of the scene, and it was on me. David was giving Don direction after he had done his side to help me. I never knew what they talked about, but Don was in tears off camera, and it made me cry on my side. It was my favorite moment. Both David and Don pretty much made that very special, which I will always remember. Although I've had a few TV dads, Don and my favorite relationship was really the most fun and interesting to play. He was amazing to work for, solid, reliable, just like in real life. I will miss you, Don. See you on the other side.
Oh my goodness.
We'll get back to me later. I think we're doing question and answers later, but I'm just going to kind of pass it on for now and then we'll come back to me.
I wanted to say something about Don too, because he, when I had done the pilot, he was from Vancouver, and of course I lived in Seattle. I'm Jan Darcy, and I went to Frank Northern with Richard Beamer. And I see my daughters, different places here. But I live in Edmonds now. And when I was on the pilot with Lynette Vaughn on Twin Peaks, and he was in Vancouver, he took me in to his agent, which was characters. And he said, you have to represent Jan. And that was really terrific, because here I was in the United States, didn't know anybody. And he took me in and sat right down with his agent. And the guy said, okay. And Corey sent me out that afternoon, and I got a guest starring role on 21 Jump Street. Fortunately, Johnny Depp had just left. And then I went and I did Outer Limits or something. I got 2 jobs in the first week, so he felt vilified, Don did. And so every time I went to Vancouver, of course, I would talk with him and I would see him at the festival. And really, we would talk on the phone and he would see how my career was going. And so I worked in Vancouver for 15 years. And it was all because of him. And he just was a really wonderful person. It gave me a touch in the stomach when I saw that hanging up there. Just a real time, I guess, about what I've been doing. Twin Peaks keeps coming up in my life all the time. I am going to be in a new Microsoft Xbox game. And
wow.
It's called Bright Falls, Microsoft. And they said I was the first character that was picked to be digitized, and it was in Finland. It's all being done in Finland, and I guess they're great Twin Peaks fans, and I think that probably had something to do with the reason that I got it. So that was real fun. But I do have to tell you that, as I said, the Twin Peaks keeps coming up over the years since we've done it, and last night was something that I could not believe. I had to go into the hospital for a minor operation, and it was a little risky, and, or it was going to turn out really great. And as you can see, it turned out really great. But what happened is that when I came out, I had been sedated, and I was really very groggy, but I told my son, you got to get me out of here because I'm going to go to the Twin Peaks dinner, and I'm going to go to see the film. And so I was still, as I said, groggy, but he got me out, got me in the wheelchair, and we're going down the hospital corridor, and this woman, this blonde woman, steps in front of the chair. And she says, I'm a nurse. And I said, oh, she probably would get me to sign some discharge papers or something like that. And she said, you're Jan Darcy. And I said, yeah. And she said, you were in Twin Peaks. And I said, yes. And I said, Shane, get me out of here. And she said, you know, I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks. And I said, that's very nice. And I mean, I really can't tell you a lot of what happened and what went on. And she said, and my son is even a bigger fan of Twin Peaks. And I said, that's very nice, you know, and could we go through here? And she said, my son is such a big, I said, well, you know, I'm trying to get to a dinner of Twin Peaks. And I said, I don't think I'm going to make that. And she said, my son is such a big fan of Twin Peaks that he's had a documentary about David Lynch. And I said, really? And she said, it's been at Sundance and some other festivals, and his name is Mathewson, I believe. I don't know if anybody has ever heard. And so she kept going on and telling me all about the documentary. And I finally said, you know, I cut to myself, push by her. So, and I wished I'd been like Peter Sellers when somebody asked him, said, you're Peter Sellers. He says, no, not today. And so anyway, there are fans all over, and I really appreciate the fact that you have come. I've been to several of them. I haven't been the last couple of years, and have enjoyed it so much. Oh, and one last thing. I'm working on a new book, and the book is called Showbiz Secrets for Fearless Public Speaking. And David has agreed to be in the book.
Wow.
So he's got a quote of my chapter on creativity. And hopefully we'll get that up on my website, which is just www.jdarcy.com, and it'll be up there digitally. And I just asked Piper, and she said, fine, she'll be in the book. So there's reason for all of you fans to get it, and it should be up there on the website, and hopefully I'll walk in with a published copy next week. But now, everybody who wants to hear, here she is.
Yay!
I'm a virgin. This is my first time here at the festival, and I'm very excited by everything I've seen so far, and I'm looking forward to answering any questions that you all might have.
Thanks, Piper. I'm Paula Shimatsu, and I want to thank each and every one of you, including those who couldn't be with us tonight, for the constant support and just amazing interaction you have with this festival and the show. It's meant a lot to me to know about what takes place here and how involved you all are and how dedicated so many of you have been. I have been in close touch with James Marshall, and I've been working on a lot of projects with him. And in speaking with him yesterday and today, he asked me to just say a few words on his behalf. He's so sensitive and grateful to all of us. He wanted me to just thank you for being who you are and for appreciating his work, and he's also just amazed and honored that you guys think of him, and he receives so much from you. He so wanted to make sure you knew that it wasn't because he was disrespecting anyone or didn't want to be here. He, even today, was wishing he could be up here. He kept telling me to enjoy myself here. It's my first time I've also with him while over here. And to enjoy the Salish Lodge. And he so wanted you all to know how dearly he wanted to be
Thursday afternoon, I was arguing with his wife, and just said, you know, we've asked you very nicely, along with the doctors, not to come, and now I have to kind of put my foot to your butt to say, you're not coming. And he finally agreed, very begrudgingly. But you'll see a lot more of him and a lot of the other actors. I think that's, a lot of you have seen some of the photos that I took or art directed for the series. There are a lot of stories, a lot of questions and answers, but I've agreed to work with Jared, Amanda, Josh, and the actors to provide you with as much information and, you know, merchandise, photos, and whatever it is that you guys decide are important to you. Because it's always been, for me, about the cast, the crew, and the fans. And I'm sorry because I know that Eisenstats had, in Charlotte, had invited me a while ago, but I was just too ill to make it up here. It's my pleasure to be here. But on behalf of James, thank you so very much. We really appreciate it. But James wanted me to just say something about Don. He never told Don, but when James was on a film with Martin Sheen, who is James's godfather, Don Davis was actually hired as a stuntman for someone on that film. And the stuntman did such a horrible job, they had to fire him. James had introduced himself in the band, and Don didn't know who he was, but they got on well. And unbeknownst to Don, yeah, well, I guess he knows now, but when he was fired, Martin was like, I don't know what the heck we're going to do. And James said, you know, maybe you should try this guy out, because I mean, he's hired as a stuntman anyway, but he's an actor too. And Martin said, you know what, that makes sense, but I don't know why we're out here. And James was so shocked and pleased when he started working on Twin Peaks and Don showed up, and he never told him. But I just thought you'd like to know that's what James and Don are all about. Yeah. So, there you go. Beautiful, wonderful, Miss Kimmy. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm so not a virgin. This is like my millionth festival. And speechless. First, no, Don, speaking of Don, I thought about him 2 months ago and I thought I was going to call him. And I thought, no, I'll wait and I'll call him at the festival because I would know where he was. And I shouldn't have waited. That's really sad. He and I had a special, sweet kind of relationship. He said to me once, you know, I've been looking my whole life for a relationship like you have with your husband, and I finally found it. And her name is Ruby. I said, oh, I'm divorced. Twice. Anyway, I'm really glad that they had the Fireman's Fund today.
Oh, yeah.
Out in Snoqualmie, and they had all those firemen standing around in uniforms. I drove by like 10 times, screaming, take it off! Wow. Is that cream style corn? That is my favorite! Really, let's see, what have I been doing? I got a new roof. I think I had a new roof in 1999, just a different house. I got 3 houses, like 5 sticks of furniture. And I did a Mac commercial, they're not going to run it. I did a Febreze commercial, they're not going to run it.